Gamers are willing to give companies multiple chances to change their ways and ultimately deliver us a high quality experience, but unfortunately, companies time and time again love to disappoint us. And now Civ 7 is getting absolutely wrecked by gamers who are really upset with a lot of the decisions that they made, specifically releasing it far too early because it is super broken. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, if you've ever been around the gaming scene, you know what the Civilization games are, and you probably know them because so many people have loved them over the years. Even if you have not played them yourself, they were always a mark of quality. They are very nostalgic games for a lot of people, and that is why so many gamers are willing to show up and honestly just shell out money for the next iteration, especially when they think the initial teasers and trailers look pretty good. But once release finally rolls around for a lot of games now, it ends up being a very underwhelming experience, and that is exactly what is happening because people were super excited for Civ 7, and now that it's out, it is not the level of quality that people expected. So just taking a peek right here on Steam, it is sitting at mixed, all reviews, with 10,233 already. And keep in mind that it is in advanced access, so you have to buy the $100 or the $130 editions of this game currently to actually be playing it, because it doesn't release until the 11th for everybody else that just purchased the standard edition of the game. So these are people who expected it to be amazing and who expected to love it, because most average gamers are not just going to be like, oh, I'm brand new to this franchise, let me just buy the $130 edition of this game. No, these are people who were excited, who were very hopeful, and who thought that they were going to love it enough to get $130 worth out of a purchase. And unfortunately, it has definitely left a lot of gamers underwhelmed. A lot of people who are just saying, this is not what we expected. I've played every Civ since the first one. This game had a chance to be great maybe in a few months with updates and mods, but not right now. It's not great. It has some fatal flaws. Now, I am somebody who loves to give companies chances to change and especially fix things, but we are not beta testers. We should not be getting a game and then say to ourselves, oh, well, maybe in a year it will be fixed, or in a couple of months they'll put out some patches, they'll tweak some of these systems, they'll make it good. At release, we should be getting a full, high-quality experience, and not every company is going to pull a Hello Games with a No Man's Sky. Not every company is going to put years of time and money and effort and dedication into fixing a game, and unfortunately, a lot of companies now just pump products out and then they dump them. They do not care about fixing them. They do not care about giving people what they expected. They're just like, oh yeah, well, it released and that's good enough for us, time to move on to the next project. And that is so sad, because gamers should not be getting ripped off. Now, they do like quite a few things about this, like the city growth system is really smart and fun. The commanders are cool and very powerful, related to both combat, and the growth mechanic is how cities are captured, and definitely has the one more turn feel, and the AI uses air power. But then you get into a plethora of problems. This is huge. Any Civ game that doesn't let me play an infinite number of turns isn't a Civ game. The game just ends at the end of the modern age. No one more turn option. This is a deal breaker for me. Whatever else, please fix this. The Aegis system is clearly meant to make it so the human players can't just win by the Renaissance or whatever. They want to perhaps handicap the human player to an extent so the whole game is engaging. I agree that the UI is bare bones. This is one of the major complaints I have seen, is how awful people feel the UI is, how unhappy they are with the UI. Just the level of quality that this game really overall is lacking. And sure, there are some people here who are saying, oh, it's pretty good. Yeah, like I've had a fun time with it, but it's still not amazing. Finished my first game and overall really enjoyed it. I don't mind the change to split leaders and civs and think it can work pretty well. And the H system seems fine, though it would be nice to have a setting to allow a few turns grace before the transition. Then they go on to talk about how there is an inexcusably awful UI and UX decision. This was compounded by the fact that, in my opinion, the worst UI issue doesn't really present themselves until the modern age, which was well past my 2 hour refund window. We need to normalize showing most of the systems in the 2 hour window unless they are super complex systems like endgame gearing. For example, companies have been adding a lot of controversial decisions after that 2 hour mark, probably. So, yes, people can no longer refund. Like the first 2 hours of a game seem really great, they're going really smoothly. And then after that point, it's like there is a drastic decline in quality, or they just literally add a 2 hour filler scene before the real game starts so that you can't end up refunding. It's just a very scummy thing overall. And of course, because all of this is going on, people are talking about it on social media. And there are a lot of people who are just voicing, yeah, why they're not enjoying this and some of the bad decisions. Obviously, leading up to release, we all were really wondering how they were going to handle figures like Harriet Tubman. That was a massive controversy leading up to release. And while that is something that people are still criticizing, that is like the least of people's problems at this point, because the major problem is the fact that they can't play it, or it is so undercooked and the UI is so poor, they're just not enjoying the game at all whatsoever, never mind adding individuals like Harriet Tubman. As this article shows, Civ gets roasted after it announces Harriet Tubman as a playable leader. I don't know what activists decided that this was the way to go, but oh, they definitely did, and they got absolutely annihilated for this decision. The trailer was at this point already being downvoted. At the time of this screenshot, it had 2.4K likes to 2.5K dislikes, but now it has significantly more dislikes. This has to be a joke. Your game sucks. Make it lamer and gayer your audience. There's nothing wrong with her as a choice per se, but in a country like America, she's way down the list of great Americans and prominent leaders. Nobody asked for this and nobody wants this. First mainline Civ game I won't buy in 33 years. Now, of course, choosing her over other more prominent American leaders and heroes is most definitely a controversial choice. It's not that she did not have an effect on America, it's not that she was not actually an important historical figure. But there are significantly more impactful choices that they could have made. But this is clearly the decision that they went with, and it was most certainly a controversial one. And I don't think that all of these reviews, think that this is such a major issue that they are leaving negative scores. But I do think it is one of the many issues in a massive pile of problems. The holy three letters DE and I, USAID money wasn't cut off fast enough. Civ peaked with Civ 4 and only got worse since then, excluding the libshit politics. The graphics look like crap compared to that game. They released an alpha version. Everything looks like garbage, and the UI has serious bugs. It's not Civ 5, probably a gay romance between Augustus and Benjamin Franklin. Bugs, lots of bugs, gameplay changes that nobody asked for, leader changes that only activists asked for, and it's just sad to see again such a notable franchise being so destroyed right now. I mean, not because, the poor developers, no, because the poor gamers who are extremely disappointed in the low quality product that they ended up getting. Now, of course, over the next few days, it will be interesting to see what happens, how gamers could continue to respond, if the scores end up going up to a positive or if they continue to tank all the way down to a negative. Only time will tell, but so far things are not looking good for the latest Civ game. And if you were super excited for this, I would recommend just waiting a little bit longer before you decide to purchase it and see if they actually release any statements or Maybe watch some gameplay before you decide to swipe your credit card because you might end up being very disappointed if you spend potentially $130 on this experience. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.